Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nursyahira Farhana binti Jauteh. My partner is Nur Ain Nazifah binti Zairil Sham, and this is a presentation on cybersecurity comparison between Cuba, Namibia, and Iceland. In Cuba, the internet is severely limited due to the technical problems from its sources, which limits the internet speed. The access to internet through mobile data was only then available in 2018. The Cuban government directly prevents access to certain websites. Cuba is really sensitive towards the anti-government movement. Thus, the state itself constantly monitors online activity of its people and foreign tourists. The state local software, which acts as surveillance medium, tracks the internet activity in Cuba. DSoft, a national software company, is used to monitor several locations at once, regardless of distance. It also monitors hotel network, countries' competing clubs, and internet portal through its program called Avila Link. To worsen the situation, in 2009, the Cuban telecommunications company, ITEXA, obtained the software. The state even went to the extent of monitoring people's private communication, harassing activists through false Facebook accounts, and controlling the email and message system, which blocked any revolt-related emails and messages during the hashtag #YoVotoNo campaign, which is a movement against the current government. Through the Avila link also, there is no transparency in collections of data. Since many business and companies are chained to this program, the information stored can be attained by the government, and they consider this legal. This makes people have little to no control over their own data. To circumvent the government's interest of censorship, many has opted to use proxies to access restricted websites such as the independent news page. In Cuba, there is a thing called the censorship of Ioani Sanchez. She is a blogger, programmer, and renowned activist who has critically spoken up about the life of Cuban under the current government in a blog of hers. Her works was impounded by the government as it transgressed against the general interest of the nation, but she was able to bypass the restriction by recording the books and smuggling them out on flash drives and leveraging online interviews. Her work was characterized as cyber war against the government. In 2014, she launched a media company, but the publication's website was hacked during its launch so that visitors would be transferred to a website dedicating to criticize her work. Yet Ioani never gave up her efforts and was awarded internationally. There is a need for legal framework to the cybersecurity in Cuba. Since there is no specific laws for cybersecurity, most cybercrime will be indicted through the Cuba Penal Code. This limited legal references is only in favor towards protecting the state and the government. Yet, in the computerization of Cuban society, the dissemination of information via public data sharing networks, which goes against social interests, moral, and people's decency and integrity, can be fined for 3,000 peso up to 10,000 peso, which is around 1,700 in ringgit Malaysia. Recommendations on how to improve the cybersecurity is to make full analysis in workplace and use antivirus and anti-spam solution to identify and prevent future attacks. They also can consider to update security patches so the security system is up to date. Namibia is one of the most vulnerable countries in terms of cybersecurity. It places 150th in the Global Cybersecurity Index out of 193 countries, yet it has a large degree of media freedom compared to neighboring countries. Namibia has been an easy target to cybercriminal due to its weakness in national security. This is because there is a lack of special training in terms of IT knowledge and the use of inexpensive communications network, which only worsen the situation. Common malware that are used to attack the Namibia system is the JCCoin. JCCoin is a JavaScript miner which embeds in websites and takes over computers' resources to mine cryptocurrency without a user's explicit approval. It also serves as a public financial transaction database. This is why the most common vulnerability exploit type In Africa is information disclosure because of the lack of high-level direction and government for the management of information assets. In the banking industry, the lack of consumer protection can be seen in the increase of phishing schemes. Cybercriminals steal valuable information by sending out fake email, system or spam, luring victims into revealing sensitive information. The thriving Namibia international banking sector also was exploited by cybercriminals to intercept any transaction because of the ease of accessing information.
For cyber law in Namibia, unfortunately, there is no law to protect Namibians against cyberbullying or punish perpetrators. Next, for the recommendation in Namibia, Namibians should practice cyber hygiene such as using password protection, and government should make reliable law enforcement for the cyber attack.
Iceland.
According to the IMD report, Iceland has the second highest information technology skills in the world. In terms of cybersecurity, Iceland cooperates against cyber threats in collaboration with international organizations such as the United Nations, the Council of Europe, the European Union, and the Organization for Security and Cooperation. Although the governments are trying to take necessary measures, there are still some problems that are difficult to solve. According to Director of the Icelandic Post and Telecom Administration, the number of cyber attacks has increased tremendously in recent years and estimates that more than $72 million is lost to cybercrime in Iceland a year. Cybersecurity problem in Iceland is phishing attack. The biggest phishing attack in Iceland happened in 2018, where individuals were sent malicious emails supposedly from the Icelandic police, asking them to come in for questioning, and any non-compliance may result to arrest. These cybercriminals aim to steal discrete information of victims, target the banks in Iceland, and to provide themselves with remote access to infected computers. Based on analysis of the attack tool, it was found that they use RAMCOS 2.07 for remote access. Next is general lack of awareness when it comes to cybercrime prevention. And lastly is universities in Iceland do not offer dedicated courses in cybersecurity in relation to their computer science program. There was a recent news about a cyber attack in Iceland with headline Hacker Attack at Icelandic Company. In September 2020, a large and sophisticated hacker attacked an Icelandic company, and the attack caused the phase of uncertainty to be activated for the first time in the telecommunications sector. CERTIS, which stands for Computer Emergency Response Team for Iceland, certified the attack as DDoS attack. As we all know, DDoS attack is an attempt made to disrupt the normal traffic of a targeted network by overwhelming it with a flood of internet traffic, and as a result, service to client is cut. This attack is considered large on the Icelandic company, but thanks to the good defenses and procedures, the company's services did not suffer any damage. Next, for the cyber law, for the cybersecurity law in Iceland is on the Article 3, which is the same penalty applies, which the subject shall be fined or imprisonment for up to 2 years if the offence is massive, to sending, modifying, adding, deleting, or otherwise destroying unauthorized data or programs stored in computerized form and intended for computer processing. Next is for the recommendation for cybersecurity in Iceland. First is increased resilience. Next is increased capacity to prevent and respond to cybersecurity threats. And lastly is reliable law enforcement. Lastly, for the comparison, we conclude that based on the three countries, Iceland is the best one among Cuba and Namibia countries in terms of cybersecurity. The reason is because Iceland has the most reliable law to protect the people compared to Cuba and Namibia. Next, Iceland do not have internet restriction, and most likely is because this country has advanced technological development and their citizens aware about cybersecurity. And I think that is all from us. Thank you.